Hello all. I'm Vangelis Stykas, as you can see here, and this is my talk, The Art of Compromising Command and Control Servers, a Web Applications Vulnerabilities Perspective. It sounds really technical. It really is not. It's just a simple talk that tries to identify what the issue is with multiple criminal C2 servers. That's me. I'm Vangelis Stykas. I'm the past 5 days the CTO of a web application penetration testing company called Atropos. I'm also an independent security researcher. My research interests are mainly APIs of IoT, medical devices, and web application security altogether. You can find me on Twitter as Stykas. My personal website is this one, but it has nothing really interesting, so don't go there. This is related to the previous talk with ChatGPT. I'm building an AI penetration testing for for APIs. It has a content-aware specific test so that you can find idols, you can find a lot of things that should have died in the past 20 years, but there's zombie apocalypse, it seems, with APIs. So it works, you can see it in this talk, but you didn't really need any AI for this kind of functions. How it all started. As our presenter said, I was doom scrolling on Twitter 14 months ago, and I saw Tatiana Siskova's tweet about a malware, an Android malware that we're going to see later today, and we're going to hack it too. And I was also introduced to the malware as a service industry, which is really big. And also the wonderful threat intel scene that comes from Twitter and is a really great team of people that try to identify what is going on in this industry. Quick intro to malware market. Malware, as with everything in the past 5 years, capitalism happened. We have moved from a once-off fee to the as-a-service model. Most new models have an as-a-service subscription varying from 100 to several thousands per month. There are a couple of old-school malware services that still have a once-off fee, but they are also, with the new versions, moving to the as-a-service model. You can see the pyramid in here. There are 3 levels. The developers are the people who write the malware, the functionality, the EC2. They're the ones doing the heavy lifting of coding stuff and implementing stuff and finding exploits. The middle is the vendors. They're most scary ones. They're one who take most of the profits and often advertise their goods in darknet marketplace, aggressively seeking new customers to purchase their malware. And on the very last, they're buyers. They're the last part of the chain. They're the people who do the actual exploitation and pay vendors who then pay developers. Malware market. Well, first of all, I'm not touching at all and ransomware in here. The ransomware is a totally different level of people. Spoiler alert, there is another talk at some point that is going to be done that has the exact same thing for ransomware. So, the profits, they're $2.2 billion. Most of them come from on the Commonwealth of Independent States, which is untouchable. If you don't know what CIS means, it means Russia. And vendors are part of criminal rigs that enjoy immunity. And this is mostly why I always look from a black van outside my house or outside wherever I am. I did that talk in DEF CON, and I was always looking for a black van because I was thinking that Vang, which is me, Vangelis, will get vanned at some point. I was not vanned, spoiler alert again, but I got that at some point, and I'm continuously getting that for every 2 weeks for the past 3 months, which says, I don't know if you can all see it, government-backed attackers may trying to steal your password. Thanks, Google. I think they didn't steal it yet, but I kind of know who is behind that. And yeah, we're going to see later. Malware 101. It can be installed on Android, Windows, Mac. It's delivered via a variety of methods. I'm dimming it out of scope to see how phishing, SMS, and everything works. It can achieve persistence with pretty much all the ways on in the book. It's heavily obfuscated, really difficult to reverse, and it connects to a command and control server for further instructions periodically. As you might have guessed from the talk title, this is what we're going to focus on. Some more lingo about malware. Stealer is the application that will try to steal all information and send it back to the command and control server. A dropper is a typically basic program that it's only used to drop other malware to the victim. A subscriber is an application in mobile phones, usually Android, that subscribes the victim to a number of premium services. And botnet, well, if you don't know what a botnet is, you're probably in the wrong room. You can ask someone else. I'm not going to. Malware analysis. This is one of the 2 slides that I have about malware analysis. It's highly technical. It can have a static analysis and dynamic analysis. It's reversing. You have to jump through a lot, and I mean a lot of hoops. The focus on reversing in the past 2 decades have raised the bar by a lot. If you are here for reversing tips, I have one more slide for you. It's the next slide, and then you can leave because I have no idea about reversing. I'm not going to learn reversing in my 40s, and yeah. If you are in these kind of things, my total respect, I'm not into it though. So the potential obstacles of malware analysis is anti-debugging techniques, obfuscation techniques, runtime function decryption, and other stuff that I don't really understand and don't want to understand. What I'm going to present you is the Toyota Corolla of penetration testing, also known as web application and API testing. It will get you from place A to place B. It's going to be slow, probably not entertainable, but we'll get the job done. Malware C2 analysis. It's definitely not that technical. We're going to treat the command and control server as a black box web application test. If you don't know what a black box web application test is, come to me afterwards. I'm more than happy to explain to you what it is. If the black box fails, we're going to cheat a little and use communication from the sandbox running the malware. If all else fails, run it on my Android or my VM and just proxy through burp. And as the final touch, apply some art to it. And by art, I mean run dir search on the server. That's it. We have a lot of C2s, 90% were pwned with that command. Dir search -u, and because I'm an extra hacker, I also, from time to time, add random agent because, yeah, that's me. The difficult part. C2 analysis is highly opportunistic because the lifetime of the command and control servers are really small. So from the detection of the C2 up to it being taken down, we have, at the very best, a couple of weeks, at the very worst, a couple of days. So it needed to be automated, integrated with threat intent tools to maximize that small window. And it had a lot of blacklisted IP addresses, so at first I had to switch machines, and then I just created several VMs that I was switching all around. What did I use for my threat intel? First of all, Twitter has a really, really good threat intel scene. I had a Python script that worked terrifically good. Then Elon Musk happened. And now I have to doom scroll to read everything. Thank you. It's also triage. Track it at very back. We are really good guys. ThreatFox at .abuse.ch, all three of them gave me a free API, which is I'm really happy for. And it's G7Worm, a really nice guy. I have been talking with him. He's also from Germany. He's doing God's work into identifying C2s. So what did I develop? A Python script. It's not shareable. The code is monstrous. That updated the database of all servers. It scanned all targets for potential issues or exploiting known issues that were not known at that moment. And if it did find something that we didn't know, I didn't know, it was not on a database, it sent a push notification to my phone. I don't know how many of you are married. Don't do that. Because if you get a push notification at 4 o'clock saying new panel, you have to explain to your wife what's the new and what's the panel, and why does it say that at 4 o'clock in your morning. Definitely not a discussion you want to have. Quick intro on the toolset and methodology. As we said, my special research art, Burp Suite, JADX decompiler to decompile any APKs, APK lab IO so that we can have some kind of communication logs without installing it on my phone, AnyRun, which is a great sandbox tool, several droplets on DigitalOcean, Sodan.io so that we could find people who are behind Cloudflare, and my cancerous Android phone that unfortunately has left us because of the many malware that were in that phone. Rest in peace, my great Android phone. Acquire C2 URL and run automated tools, run it in a sandbox, run automated tools with added knowledge, submit a DEFCON talk, get accepted, never sleep without thinking that someone is behind you. That's all the methodology that I could have. What's the goal of that whole talk? Get admin access to the panel. This means I want to be admin in every panel. Get remote command execution on the server, because just admin is not fun enough. You want command execution in there. Acquire the source of the panel and the malware if we could, and don't get up in a black van. So, how good did we do in this endeavor? 7 admin panels, 3 remote command executions, 5 source codes, and my 40 years of not ending in a black van continues. Not horrible mentions. Cloudflare, they never cared, they never took anything down, they are just in it for the money. Hetzner, they did not accept any of my reports, and not only that, they also disabled my VMs that I was scanning because it was against their terms of service. It was, I accept that, but I do believe that the malware also were against their terms of service. But yeah, that's life, I guess. Bulletproof hosting providers for obvious reasons. So, enough with the small talk. Everything from here on is 0 days on C2s, or it was because some of them were fixed, but we're going to see how it's happened. Harley. That's the one that got me into there. It's from the tweet. It was found, as we said, by Kaspersky. First report was on 22 of September of 2022. This means that I'm doing this for more than a year now. And it started as a side hustle, and it takes most of my time nowadays. It was really extensively researched from Tatiana Siskova. I'm also going to introduce that matter. This means how good I feel about that. It goes from green, great, to red, I'm getting banned. So not so good, but not that bad either. Harley, Trojan subscriber, that means that once it got into the phone, it registered for a paid services. Keep that in mind. We're going to see why it was doing it. It's around 300, I think, apps nowadays. It's estimated over 1,000 apps to this day, affecting 12 million users. It has an encrypted SDK in Go and Rust. It was encrypted. You're going to see that at the end of this talk. It's not going to be so encrypted at all. The administration interface is, as you can see, based on Zoo Spring App. I don't know if you can see that. So it had some great JavaScript code that says if the code is 200, set session storage, the username to that, and then go to frame.html.goto.task. I don't know, does that work? It does not, sorry. Or it doesn't, I'm just ignorant. So if you could just do session storage.set item username as the username admin, because that's the username you want to be, right? I really hope the dog is the admin's dog, so I also know his dog. So I'm the admin now. That's it. I have full functionality. I could see who did what, where. But as we said, we needed more. I needed RCE. There goes my beloved dir search. I don't know how popular it is in Germany. Do we have any Java developers in here? None? No one? I really love Germany then. I don't know if you have ever worked with Java. It's painfully slow and really bad. But for a pen tester, and I'm going to wear my pen tester hat now, boot actuator Spring Framework can leak a lot of stuff. Enter Zolokia land. Zolokia is a certain boot actuator that had a lot of exploits. Unfortunately, those exploits needed to be enabled. They would have to have paid for Zolokia, which needs commercial features, and the guys behind it were cheap fucks and didn't pay for anything. So I had to make do with that. You can see diagnostic command, VM system properties, and I got this wall of text, which unfortunately, as you can see, is not really clean. So let me clean it up for you. You can see AWS secret access key, Ali access key, AWS access key. So there it is. We have AWS access key for that. Unfortunately, it was not the root access key, so I had to go and see the REST3 buckets. In there, you can see a master key and the Jenkins. Does anyone here know what Jenkins is? Oh, great. So let's go to Jenkins credential decryptor, write this excellent command that would give us git ID, global, MySQL, AWS access key, and we have access to all their GitHub, or GitLab, sorry, not GitHub. So GitLab, all malicious app code dumped, all command and control server code dumped, will be shared it's already shared, you can go, it's on my DEF CON talk. But let's give it some time to also introduce you to the company behind that, which is called Star Pavilion Digital. It's a payment gateway, and they also have SMS payment, which it was really good because they were actually subscribing to their own SMS payment services. You can see the mail in here. You can call them. I called them, I sent them an email. After, I don't know, 5 or 10 emails, I don't really remember, they responded, we are in China, you are in Greece, we don't really care, you shouldn't care too. Like, okay, don't care, but I will talk about this. Clipper, not so private messaging. It was reported by the one and only Luca Stefanko and Peter Stricek. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. Sorry if I'm not. I'm feeling safe. They're not that big of a fish, so I don't really care about it. As I said, it's reviewed by a set, reversed by those two fabulous guys. It delivered a Trojanized WhatsApp and Telegram messenger. Their sole purpose was to switch crypto wallet addresses from the one that you were submitting to the attacker's one. Again, Dear Search found a lot of things and an env file. As you can see in here, it's Laravel. Does anyone here know what Laravel is? I double love Germany. I have been a Laravel developer for more years than I would want to. And I can tell you that environment files are juicy files, and they were reusing the environment files. So that environment file had a DB username, a DB password, and also an app key. And if you're a developer in Laravel, you know that app key encrypts cookies. So I was able to rebuild cookies and log in as any user, which means I was super admin in there. So again, I'm the admin. Let's move on with our lives. But in there, there's also a README file. In that README file, you could see that it had a gitlab.com sudo and a bunch of numbers. Everything was public. I didn't need to hack anything. I just had to go in there. It's now deleted, but you can see it on my GitHub. User had other really, really interesting repositories, though. You can see all the users that had submitted at some point to this repository. I dumped all the malware-related repositories. The Android app was already compiled, so no source code for that. I shared it on GitHub. No further information, as we have really bigger fish to fry. So anyone who has worked with malware at some point in their life knows what Amadey is, right? Okay. Not so much love from Germany. So, Amadey. It was surfaced on October 2018. It's a typical stealer. It's sold in Russian forums for up to $1,000 now. It's usually used as a dropper for other malware. The source code was leaked 5 years ago and a month ago on my DEF CON talk. And it has known connections to Lockbit, blah, 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 blah. A lot of known connections. So it seems I'm getting banned. How did I get access to it? So again, Stray, running Dear Search, a file zip from Dear Search was there. Zip was password protected. I cracked it, a good friend of mine. I cracked the password in less than 24 hours, and I got that, which means I got access to the source code. One, we had a lot of SQL injections. As you can see in here, they practically never have any MySQL real escape or any other of SQL escaping. But unfortunately, as you can also see in here, this cannot be used to log in because the username and password are hard-coded in the source code. Not hard-coded, but defined in the source code. And there comes that nice function. Can you see? Parse credentials, it file put contents on a user-specified file name with user-specified data. The only limitation was that the file name had to be exactly 12 characters, and I have to have those 3 double dots as the delimiter for the string, which after a lot of thinking, ended up on that really thoughtful string, PHP echo that, and the ID of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.php, exactly 12 letters as it said. And when I went to /credentials 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.php, I saw that really nice verb in there, which means, my dear server, one of us is fucked. That's not me. I'm the admin. I have remote command execution in there. So what could I do? I quickly wrote a reverse shell. I had an automated way of extracting everything. I added a really sneaky cron job to corrupt a percentage of the files. If I corrupted everything, they would have known. Unfortunately, it is fixed. It was fixed at late June of 2023. But, is that the camera? Dear Amadey developers, this is no longer fixed. I have a new RC for you, and I'm not going to release it in here. So, hello. What did we have? Sorry, guys, sorry for not disclosing that 0 day, but I know they fixed that, the old one, once it was disclosed, so I really want to have that access and maintain it. I was able to detect more than 1,000 instances since December 2022, upwards of 7 million devices compromised, nice graphs, more nice graphs, you don't really care, it's really bad. Smoke loader. Is anyone familiar with smoke loader? No? You're happy people in here. So, it's probably the biggest dropper. Its first record was in 2014, which is older than my second son, who is now into public school, so it's old. It targets Windows. It's a generic dropper for other malware. The price of full package is $2,000. It has known connection to pretty much every 3A in the world, so yeah. They are the guys that are after me, but yeah. Dear Search to the rescue, stray zip files with credentials. The most depressing thing of all of this is that the guy who has it is probably a millionaire. Everything else is okay. But yeah, I was able to log in. I'm the admin. Another depressing thing, this is 20 computers, this is 25,000 pages. This means that it's over 500,000 computers. So all bots, 500, 5,000, add personal task, delete all bots, cancel bot deletions. One of the wisest things that I have done in my life was not pressing that delete all buttons. Because if I had deleted that bots, I would have interacted with people who were not criminals, and therefore I wouldn't be here in Berlin talking about it, but in a Greek prison. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I did not get remote command execution. The source code is available. All shared malware downloadable from Git. They are a botnet for hire, so this is the gift that keeps on giving. We are at around 200 malware that were shared from there. They have disabled my access on most of their servers, but again, this is my camera. You have to try harder smoke loader. There's backend servers that I still have access. What did I do? Knew the default zip name of the source code, Most of them are vulnerable, 60 different instances. 2 of them had more than 500,000 bots. Estimated is right now over 15 million unique devices that were compromised at some point in 2023. Excellent graph. You can see how it goes. It has more nowadays. It seems that they are compromising 5,000 to 10,000 computers per day, which is a lot. Manipulated Cayman. It's a really small botnet that targets mostly Mexican victims. So we had Chinese, we had Russian. I really want to spice up things, so add a Mexican threat actor. It's active for at least 2 years. It had more than 55 million of potential revenue. It's okay. But it's Mexico. Who's going to go after me? So they had their Django REST framework. As you can see, all the info is in there. Credit cards, everything. That's how the people we were able to calculate how many victims were in there. And as you can see in here, you just go to that website and you're an admin. There's literally no authentication, no authorization, no all. You're an admin, you're an admin. Everybody's an admin because, yeah, that's life. But we do have more than admin. Trusted research. You can see Git. We have Git in there. There is the Bitbucket. There is the list that was shared with have I been pwned, and it's in there now. So unfortunately, I did not manage to get RCE. The source code is also available. If any of you wants to take a spin of it, be my guest. I'm really happy to share. But if you do it in Germany, this is probably legal, and don't do it. Nexus. Unfortunately, that's the one that got away. The first appearance was in 2022. It's an Android stealer. It has a really sophisticated way of bypassing multi-factor authentication. It targeted 500 banking applications. It's mostly active in Turkey, which is crazily close to Greece, and it's currently inactive. So I think I'm safe. The only thing that it had in there was an SQL injection that you were able to exploit just with SQL map, and you were able to log in and have anything that you want in there. You could dump the full database, clear text passwords, because who wants encryption? No code or RCE. It hasn't been around for the past 5 months. I consider it dead. Aurora. First appearance also 2022, Windows stealer, written in Golang. cToPanel was also written in Golang. It's also dead. So I had to went to a wedding. The deer search found a stray image loading advertisements, followed that lead. I found the base building server handling pretty much everything, builds, licensing. You could add the user to it and create stealers. That's the building server. So I added my user, and I said, OK, I'm in. I now have to do other stuff because I also live. As I said, I'm married. I had to go to a wedding with my wife in Spain, and that happened on the Friday that I was flying. So I said, OK, cool. I'm going back in Monday. And on Saturday, that tweet happened. Which if you don't see major movements, Aurora is dead. I don't know if me adding the username made the guy delete everything or something else, but yeah, that's the one that got away. But I'm okay with that, I think. And ethical dilemmas. That's a really, really silver lining that we would have to take. Are we the buddies? What I'm doing, what I'm presenting in here, in Germany, is illegal. In Greece, it's not exactly illegal. It's allowed unless the person that you hacked sues you. So I really hope someone sues me. So I have a really good lawyer. I'm happy to have enough money to pay that lawyer. And if any of those malware people wants to go after me, let's have a fight. What's the issue? Criminals will get better. Command and control servers will get some focus too. I have some news for you. No, they will not. I hope that after my DEF CON talk, everyone would have fixed the 0 days. They tried, they didn't try really hard. Bar will be raised and today's 0 days will no longer be valid. No, they're still valid. Most of them are still there. They don't really care. I don't know. I really don't know. It could interfere with active police investigation. I was lucky and didn't interfere with any active police investigation, but I was also unlucky to have a lot of police asking me stuff and asking me to provide for 0 days, which I did, and I will continue doing, but it's not one of the best things to have an email saying that, yeah, can you give us a 0 day? What I will do, I will continue monitoring for new panels. I will try to find more 0 days. I will help LEAs identify criminals and chase them. I will try to continue my 40 years of don't get banned and not get hacked strike. You can see my GitHub. All source code is released in there. The blog post was never uploaded. It will never be uploaded. It's still in there just for reference. I was told by multiple LEAs that it was not wise to write down what I did, although it is wise for me to present it to you. But, yeah. So, that was me.
Thank you so much. That was very, very interesting. We have some time for questions again. Do we have? Oh, yes. That was a quick hand.
I think there is, I see a lot of movement doing what exactly you are doing, right? So I hear other people fighting back on criminals. And I wanted to ask you if you would encourage more people to do it, and if you would have some recommendations for their OPSEC, basically.
I'm looking at the camera, but I'm answering you. I'm not encouraging anyone to do illegal stuff in their countries. But if you can find a silver lining that will allow you to hack the person who tried to hack your mom or your company, or you can go after ransomware, do it. But on the but, don't do illegal stuff.
What recommendations on OPSEC?
So, that you don't get banned, you mean? I'm really bad in OPSEC, as you can see. I hacked bad people and am here with my actual name, first name, last name. I'm Vangelis Stykas. I hacked bad people. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any recommendation on the OPSEC, sorry. Do have OPSEC if you feel like it. Anyone else?
So, I just have a comment on OPSEC. Maybe it's also interesting for you, also if you, although you won't use it, obviously. There was a talk some years ago from THS and I think he was a speaker of CCC, which was called like, you can hack everything, you just should not be erwischt werden. So, du kannst alles hacken, aber lass dich dabei nicht erwischen. I think it's a pretty good talk about OPSEC, and if you're interested in that, that's maybe helpful. For you, thank you very much for the awesome talk.
There's your answer on OPSEC. Like, oh, no, on the OPSEC. I'm not doing OPSEC. Anyone else? Do we have anyone? It's a lot of lights. I can't see anything.
It's another question. So this is your hobby, right?
It was my hobby. It was my job. Then it became my hobby because I didn't like pen testing, but now I love pen testing, so now it's also my job. I'm a strange guy, sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I have a question. Like you said, for Amadey, the Russian one, your friend was able to crack it in very fast. Was it before it was easy, not encrypted, or I don't know, like how was he able to?
The zip password?
Yeah, the password.
You can see the zip password in there. It was a really small dictionary word, pretty easy to crack. They have switched on version 4 to a bigger hash, but we have found a way around it to get RC. So it was bad, but not that bad.